Oh, sheet. This is a common response by astrologers when this fixed star is found in a client's chart. Sheet has a nasty reputation amongst astrologers. It is traditionally seen as a star of potential serious misfortune and pronounced malevolence. The existence of this fixed star in one's chart can mean catastrophic losses, natural disasters, especially relating to severe storms, floods, and tsunamis. Danger and deadly accidents, particularly at sea or even drowning. In other less frequent cases, and depending on where it is in someone's chart, it can be a positive, signifying intelligence, tremendous artistic talent, and flow of creativity. This astrological interpretation does align with Sheet's planetary history and alien life characteristics. While I admittedly am not an astrologer, and astrology is not my area of expertise, I was educated to the astrologist's viewpoint only after I met the beings who live there and researched their planetary history in the Akashic records. So let me introduce the undiscovered alien race that lives on Sheet, otherwise known as a beta Pegazi. This is a benevolent, creative, aquatic species on a planet that has been plagued by wars and misfortune. Greetings and welcome back. For those who are just tuning in, my name is Erin. I'm an Akashic record researcher and galactic channel. And we're going to feature the second unknown aquatic galactic species in this video. This is the first planet I've featured in this series from the Pegasus constellation. It is the second brightest star in the Pegasus constellation with the Bayer designation of Beta Pegazi. Like I mentioned in the opening of this video, this planet also has an Arabic name of Sheet. Although the beings who inhabit this planet prefer to be called Pegazians. And throughout the years, since these beings introduced themselves to me, I have had several Akashic record reading clients who are starseed souls originating from this very fascinating realm. When I asked the Pegazians if they were aware of their earthly astrological reputation, I received the following channeled response. Yes, we the Pegazians are familiar with how many on Earth view our world. Everything and every meaning has a purpose and a reason. The negative energies from our planetary placement did bring certain misfortunes onto us. No matter what we have gone through, it was a result of a divine plan, and it does not reflect on the goodness or benevolence of our species. We are a universal example of how to be resilient and persevere through difficulties outside one's own control. Pegazian society is currently and has always been in the 9th dimension. While they may have had many challenges on their planet in the past, they have not gone through an ascension process. This is a non-exhaustive explanation of the strife the Pegazians have endured, but what has been shared with me of their past misfortunes. So a planet from the neighboring Vulpecula constellation, specifically called 23 Vulpeculae on our star maps, invaded Beta Pegazi. And this invasion led to an extended war fought on Beta Pegazi that took place a few million years ago. And at the time of this recording, I haven't met any alien beings from the Vulpecula constellation. However, I was told that not all species from Vulpecula are negative, but the group from 23 Vulpeculae is. So this ET group is a non-aquatic race that often seeks to take over other realms to exploit their natural resources. This negative group wanted the water on Beta Pegazi, as well as a lot of their intellectual property in the form of the technology they had developed. The Pegazians are not an aggressive species by nature, but had to defend themselves from attack. And I was shown a vision of lots of laser weapons shooting through the water and destroying the cities and structures the Pegazians had built on the water floor. Lots of fear and fleeing to find shelter amongst the beings who live there. In fact, much of the damage and ruins from these wars are still there today. The war-damaged structures that could be reconfigured to be usable again were repaired, and the Pegazians do live in those. While some were not able to be reused, but has been left there for nature on their world to take over. And when I astral travel to Beta Pegasi, I also observe a tremendous number of damaged, dark, metallic structures, as well as some new ones. And this obviously caused a lot of physical devastation on their planet, as well as emotional trauma. And so the positive to come out of these unfortunate experiences is that the Pegazians are a tight-knit group due to this shared trauma. And they make sure that all remains harmonious within their population going forward. And this approach to a traumatic past experiences reminds me of how the Anlkkos dealt with it. So feel free to watch that video as well for further insight. Beta Pegasi is a planet that's a bit smaller than Earth and is a true water planet. There is no dry land anywhere. And I want to call their world an ocean world just because the water is so vast, like an ocean would be on our planet. However, the water there is fresh water only, and the water does feel cool and refreshing, if not a bit chilly. So Beta Pegasi has always been a water world since its inception. And there's not much variation in the water's depth, and I'm told it's about 3/4 of a mile or 1,200 meters deep. But what else is interesting about this realm is that the sun or light source is under the water floor. Therefore, the sunlight location is in a reversed position from Earth. So instead of sun rays coming from above and shining downwards, the floor of their planet is like an even white light source from below. So it's almost as if Beta Pegasi is built upon a giant light box. The Pegazians have built structures on the ground covering some of this light source. Although there's still enough open space to allow for sunlight to come through. Although I can easily see around me when I've astral traveled there, the water is crystal clear. It's just not a particularly bright place. So there is a gloomy vibe. And when I go to look above the water surface, it's only a still blackness. There's no waves, there's no noise, there's no moons that can be observed. So all planetary activity is happening well beneath the water's surface. There is a lot of other animal and plant life floating in the water. I did see several large, see-through, bioluminescent jellyfish creatures swimming about, as well as the other types of fish species that are kind of like what we have on Earth. So Pegazians seem really uninterested in eating or interacting with the sea life around them. They just peacefully coexist. And there's also a lot of vibrant purple algae and flowering plants, either growing alongside the abandoned buildings or floating along in the water. So these purple plants in this blue-green water are just magnificent to see. So despite its gloominess, I think Beta Pegasi is a beautiful planet. The Pegazians are just one of the many vibrant blue alien species existing in our universe. And I've mentioned this in other videos, that blue seems to be a predominant alien skin color in the cosmos. So spoiler alert, we will be meeting many more blue ETs in future videos. But the Pegazians look like an octopus, but with a flatter head, but with a mermaid tail attached underneath their tentacles. So they have two large eyes that are kind of yellow with big black pupils, and they slightly bulge out the top of their heads. They don't have any discernible mouths, as I am told that they don't need to eat solid food or drink liquids to survive. Their bodies simply absorb the necessary energy and or nutrients in their environment. So these beings live long, healthy lives with an average lifespan of 350 linear Earth years. From end to end, these beings are about 3 feet or 92 centimeters in length. And these beings are solid color with scales on their mermaid tails that have a slight metallic shimmer that catch the light. The fish tail has scales throughout, except for the fin on the end. However, the front octopus half with their bodies is smooth, scaleless skin. So I'm calling it an octopus, but much like the Oceana Kahs that I covered in a previous video, they only have 6 tentacles and not 8. But unlike the Oceana Kahs, the Pegazians do have suction cups along the inside of each tentacle, which imitates our earthly octopi species. So their tentacles are about 18 inches or 46 centimeters in length. Naturally, these beings are at home in the water and are expert swimmers. Pegazians do not need to go to the surface of the water to breathe, as they can breathe just fine in the water. In fact, these beings prefer not to swim close to the surface, but stay towards the bottom of their ocean floor. So the floor of their planet, although completely submerged underwater, is where their advanced structures are built. The Pegazians do live inside their water-filled buildings. I see them sleeping in there while just suspended in the water with their eyes closed. I suppose sleeping in an enclosed structure makes them feel safer and stops them from potentially floating far away. But the water on Beta Pegasi doesn't appear to have strong currents or much natural movement at all. It is very still. I've seen Pegazians use their tentacles to walk or crawl along the ground. So even when they are crawling on the water floor, propelling themselves forward with these tentacles, their fishtails are still floating slightly above their heads. And the tail fin is used like a paddle to steer their bodily direction. Nonetheless, the Pegazians are mostly seen swimming around in the water versus the floor crawl. Perhaps another reason these beings prefer to stay close to the bottom is because the floor of their planet is where most of the sunlight is. What is most striking, and what the Pegazians are most known for throughout the universe, is their impermeable and powerful energy shields. These energetic shields are invisible to my eye, but surrounds each Pegazian being's body. This force field extends approximately 8 inches or 20 centimeters from their bodies. And this shield is naturally occurring and is something each Pegazian is born with. So therefore, the physical body of these galactic beings is never touched by anyone, including other Pegazians. So this shield, although invisible, is mostly impassable and primarily serves as a protection measure. But it can also change or manipulate the surrounding energy around them. And this energy shield is different from the Alphirkian beings, who I made a video about, as the Pegazians have a literal shell of energy around them, while the Alphirkians have this strong energy that just kind of radiates from within. The Pegazians will merge their two energy fields slightly to communicate with each other and pass along information. This energy merging is usually done face to face, like how we Earth humans talk to each other. All communication between the Pegazians is energetic, not speech or telepathy. So this energy shield has always been a part of the Pegazian species, but they have learned to master the art of using their natural gifts and energy manipulation over a long period. So the attacks on their planet have always been a catalyst for them to learn how to use this natural shield most effectively. And now their abilities are the envy of many other alien races, and many souls from other starseed groups will choose to have several incarnations on Beta Pegasi to learn these energy skills themselves. So this group often works with Arcturus, Cirrus, Zavijava, and Regulus. Since they are a completely aquatic race, the water can and does pass through this energy shell. Water is the only thing that can go through it. And these aliens always need to be submerged in water for survival. Furthermore, only the water found on their planet can enter this energy shield. So if one were to douse a Pegazian with polluted water or water that was structurally different in some way, it would not touch their bodies. All water is not the same, and I have experienced different textures and types of water on different planets. I do want to discuss the amazing intellect and creativity the Pegazians possess as a species. Perhaps it was this intelligence and creativity that drew the interest of those negative beings from Vulpecula to Beta Pegasi to begin with. The arts and sciences are of primary importance to their society, and I was shown Pegazian beings simply vibrating their bodies, and from their energy fields, they create these beautiful and colorful patterns in the surrounding water. Now, this is a practice that can be done solo or within a group, with each participating member adding to the artwork. Even though this is done for fun, creating is as important as breathing for them, and their natural creativity can also be expressed through participating in realm creation and scientific discovery. The Pegazians are experts at merging art and science together. Their technology is also very thoughtfully developed, by extracting the natural energy in their water without disturbing their natural environment or life forms. So instead of creating a power source from maybe forcing water through a turbine or moving the water around a lot, it's somehow absorbed through these panels that they have created. So it reminds me of an underwater solar panel, but it's not taking the power of the sun, but the power from the water itself. It is renewable and never runs out. Well, clearly, the Pegazians are no strangers to technology and have lots of technologically advanced structures on their world. These beings do not use spaceships for travel. They are not a group that tends to have any desire to leave their home world and visit other planets. This alien race, although a benevolent group, also have never participated in the Galactic Federation of Light. The Pegazians are not a particularly emotional species, even though they love to create art, and art is an expression of emotion. But perhaps they prefer to express themselves creatively and not through feeling a range of emotions. These beings are curious about many different things and will have a lot of varied interests in their lives. They love to investigate and see what makes something work. And once they figure that out, it's on to the next thing. Their mating relationships are just as varied, with Pegazians having many different non-monogamous partnerships throughout their lives. They seem to be very self-reliant beings who don't look to others for much, although they do interact with each other and there is a sense of community there. So it's like there's this weird push and pull with them. From past experiences, they know the value of working together, but will struggle with committing to anything long-term. I was told by the Pegazians, we know that we must stick together or we will become weak and prone to attack. Many are greater than one. Hopefully you enjoyed learning about the brilliant Beta Pegazians. And what do you think about this aquatic alien species? Are you more at home in the water than on land? Perhaps you may be a Pegazian starseed. To my astrology experts who are watching, can you expand on what else sheet means when it's in someone's chart? Any ET groups mentioned here that I've made videos about before will be linked in the show notes. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell and enjoy my other videos highlighting other unknown galactic races in our universe. And should you want to have your Akashic record read by me, the link to the website is below. In the meantime, I love you all and welcome to a higher dimension.